Hey there, welcome to the Hot Slice Podcast. This is the podcast brought to you by Pizza Today magazine. I am your host, Denise Greer, executive editor at Pizza Today, and I am joined by the one, Kate Lavin, with Pizza Today, and she is our senior editor. Hey, Kate.
Hi, Denise.
Hello. So we are post Pizza Expo and big show, and we'll get into that in later episodes. And we will have a lot of interviews that come from the show floor. So it's going to be an exciting time even after Pizza Expo to get even more Pizza Expo goodness.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So this episode, our guests on this episode hail from Chicago. And I got to tell you, before we get into talking about our guests, Chicago is one of my favorite towns. We can get to it easily from Louisville, and B, it's just got a great pizza scene. Besides having, deep dish, it also has about every other pizza style under the sun. But it is a big, big, big pizza market.
Yes, absolutely. Although something that our guests today were mentioning was that their restaurant is actually located in somewhat of a food desert, which has played a role in how it came to be.
Absolutely. So let's talk about our guests real quick. So we're talking to Lynn Humphreys and Brandon Bruner Sr., and they are with Lynn's Chicago Pizza, and it's in the south side of Chicago. So as you said, it's an area that doesn't see a lot of pizzerias in their neighborhood of Woodlawn, and so they're kind of that unique gem in their neighborhood. So I love that about them. They're able to be a real community hub and community center for their neighborhood.
Yeah, it really sounded like Brandon wanted to make it kind of the cheers of the neighborhood where everyone knows your name and people can just go and hang out.
I love that. I love that. And I tell you what, they're able to get so much momentum as far as media attention. They've done such a great job getting their name out there regionally and locally in Chicago, where people are seeking them out. And I just think that is really a great asset to be able to have, is to be able to get your name out there.
For sure. I also really loved the events that they do to try
Mhm.
and draw people in, special menu items and evenings with kind of different themed menus. It sounded like a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, I think it is too. I think it's they're great. It's a great pizzeria, and I can't wait to watch them grow. They're a very young pizzeria, so it's going to be neat to see how they grow and the systems that they've put into place. We talked a little bit about how they're developing systems because they do want to grow and do some different things. So it's going to be fun to watch them. Watch them over the next couple of years.
For sure. They have big plans. I can't wait.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, let's just jump right in to our conversation with Lynn and Brandon.
Are you ready to elevate your bakeware game? Spokane, Washington based Lloyd Pans is the trusted name for professionals and home chefs alike. For over 40 years, Lloyd Pans has been creating innovative food service, bakeware, and pizza pans and tools designed to deliver perfect results every time. Whether it's crispy golden pizza crusts or perfectly baked pastries, Lloyd Pans' durable, stick resistant, and proprietary pan finishes are a game changer. Visit lloydpans.com to explore our full lineup and find your perfect pan today. Need shipping quotes or custom products? Email sales@lloydpans.com for personalized service. Performance Food Service is proud to deliver high-quality products, innovative technology, and custom operational solutions to restaurants of all sizes across the country. The flagship division of Performance Food Group, with deep roots in the restaurant industry, Performance Food Service has been the exclusive distributor of the Roma family of brands for more than 65 years. This signature relationship has allowed Performance Food Service to become a leader in the pizza and Italian segment of food service nationwide.
Hey there. Welcome to the Hot Slice, guys.
Hey, thank you for
Hey.
having us.
Hi there.
Absolutely. All right. So, let's start with y'all are so good at getting attention for your pizzeria. And I gotta know, how are you doing it?
Uh,
Good one.
yeah, it's just a lot. I mean, a lot of work. I study everyone else's stuff too. Like you have to. You cannot just sit there like, well. But then also, I'm not a very trendy person, so I don't want to do all like the here we look, doing this, and I see what everyone's doing, and if everyone's doing it, I need to find a middle ground where it's like, oh yeah, I see the trend, but I'm still me, and then
Yeah,
like
like it has to be authentic.
yeah, it has to be
Yeah.
definitely organic. And so we just use a lot of social, like right before I got on with you, I was on social media trying to promote a dinner I'm doing next week and trying to send it to
Mhm.
everyone. And if you said hi to me, I'm sending you an invitation to buy a ticket. I'm sending you like we gotta talk about the oxtail pizza. So like all week
Yeah.
and like we're not open on Tuesday, so I'm gonna spend the day just blasting as much stuff or at least setting it up to be blast all week. Like I tell people, I run my shit like McDonald's. Every
Yeah.
30 seconds, if you not da 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 da, you can say that. That means McDonald's got in your head. So if you're not saying Lynn Chicago Pizza or Aja, then I didn't do my job. And it just comes from consistency doing over and over. I don't care
Yeah,
if you see the same.
consistency is important.
Yeah.
I think like also posting something every day.
Yeah.
Um, Brandon's been good, like with connecting with like social media influencers as well, like coming to our restaurants. So like they make our food big and our presence big on online presence as well. And then like actually probably just like reaching out to people. Like we
Yeah.
were featured on the Smart Pizza Marketing and Pizza King like just last month. So I think like just putting yourself out there, just like looking at things, being a fan of things, and be like, I like what they're doing. I can do this. So let's put ourselves out there because we're just trying every single day. And I just think like that's what it is.
You don't even know. You don't know until you ask. I always tell people you're not going to get a no or a yes until you ask the
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, I have no problem. Hey, Denise, how you doing? We're da da da. I don't have a problem. There's no shame in my game of trying to get some
Yeah.
eyes to my business because we need to make money somehow.
Hey, and that's how it should be. You've got a business, you've got to get it out there. And being in the Chicago market, I mean, you're in a super competitive market as far as, getting that attention. It's being able to grab a hold of Chicago, which is probably what, number two, number three in the US as far as the
Mm-hmm.
pizza scene goes, being
Yeah.
able to draw that attention in that market is pretty impressive.
Our market's it's big about what our part of town we are in. So,
Mhm.
our city's broke up in divisions. So we're on the south side of the city.
Yeah.
Now we were on the north side or the downtown area. We're talking about we're talking about pro level like NBA, NFL level
Yeah.
guys who like the Giordano's, the Illuminati. So where
Mm-hmm.
we are, we have the distinction of being okay, a pizza brand on the south side, near the University of Chicago, near the Obama
Hmm.
Center Library that's finished being built, in a community
Hmm.
that is in the middle of a big gentrification. So we're not if you walk down our street, you're not gonna find another sit down restaurant
Yeah.
and about maybe 2 mile radius.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So like we
Yeah,
have an
we're like in the food desert over
yeah.
here.
Oh,
So we have
wow.
so now we have all these new buildings. We have things around us like housing at $500 million a unit, condos by the
Mhm.
par. We have $500,000 homes being built up and down these streets. I actually grew up in this neighborhood as well, so I'm kind of familiar with it. Where
Yeah.
we have an opportunity we are the only competition at the moment.
Yeah.
But while that's being ground up, like we've been in conversations with communities where they are trying to get more restaurants to come. They're trying to work on rehabbing buildings, turning in. So, like having our footprint already in there kind of gives
Mhm.
us a little more leeway. But if we were definitely on a different side of town, oh, it would be different.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
would be
yeah.
super different. Like we'll need a bigger budget just to even market because we can't compete.
Yeah, that's true. Because we do get customers coming in and like they always tell us like what their favorite pizza place is, like
Hmm.
which is great. But also in my mind, I'm thinking like, but you haven't tried ours yet. So
Yeah.
once you try ours, is really going to change your mind because they just like come in with the chain restaurants they already know. Most of the time, it's not even like another local pizza place. It's always a Giordano's, like for the deep
Or
dish.
beggars.
It's
Yeah.
always a beggar's pizza. Like it's nothing like just super local. And our food is it's house made. Like we've
Crafted.
made, yeah, handcrafted, chef driven recipes, of course. So it makes a difference. And we love the feedback from our customers so that they can taste it. They can
Yeah.
taste the freshness of the sauce. They can tell that like the dough is like handmade, like it's rolled out.
Yeah. You sent me photos of it, and I just was like, I'm hungry now. And it was only like 9 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, well, I know what I'm eating for lunch because this looks amazing. So, um, I always think about like how people get their start. So you were able to get into your brick and mortar. But you didn't start with a brick and mortar. You started as a virtual restaurant. So you can
Mhm.
kind of tell us about how, like why you wanted to get started and kind of how you made that transition.
Yeah, we progressed like pretty quickly. I think like honestly, like it's just been a lot of blessings along the way. But just like
Mhm.
how we got started, Brandon and I, like we were at home. We decided to make a at home like dinner day. We decided on
Yeah.
pizza because we love pizza. We decided on deep dish specifically because we love deep dish.
Only
Yeah.
thing we agreed on off the back. So
So
Yeah.
instead of getting delivery,
we couldn't get
um,
delivery. Couldn't get anybody to deliver. There was like no one. I didn't want to go get it. No delivery. Everyone cuts
Yeah.
off at a certain street,
right.
and I was like, and then once we
Yeah.
did the research, and we only did that because we tried to get delivery before. So instead of like going through that process, I'm like, well, I have a bunch of books I haven't really banged my head against. A lot of bread
Yeah.
books. So I'm like, let's start banging my head. Start pulling out a bunch of recipes. Start looking at some things I did at a few restaurants I worked at prior, and just try to like craft something that was my own and kind of just yeah, it was a process.
Yeah, so then we made the pizza, the deep dish pizza at home, and it was just so good, and like we were impressed.
Yeah.
And then honestly, like just the same weekend, we just started giving out like free pizzas to close friends and family. They
Hmm.
loved it, and I think like literally a week later, like we were just kind of like at our local bar and like kind of like just talking about the pizza and everything.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wait a minute, like this place don't sell food. Like, what if they let us do food here? So then I
Yeah.
asked, the bartender said yes. And then we just put a plan together.
Yeah.
We decided to
Well,
do like personal pan deep dish pizza.
I actually went back to the bar, I brought them a whole pizza for them to sample and share, and then she
Yeah.
was like, yeah, and then it was came like, and that was the start after I brought her the sample.
Yeah, and then the next weekend after that, it was literally Super Bowl weekend. And then like a customer that we had from the bar like ordered like 6 pieces. And we were only doing deep dish at the time. So we are like, wait a minute. And then I had another person like order like another like 4 pieces. So like next thing you know, we're doing like 10, 11 pieces. And
Yeah.
then we just said, okay, like I think that we should probably start like pushing this out there to the world. Like we made the decision together, came up with the name together.
Yeah,
Um,
we did. The
yes.
name was already Lynn's Chicago Pizza. We had another project that I was going to call Lynn's as first. It just switched Chicago Pizza. Now, and all of this was all in the beginning, first quarter, winter of 2023. So, like, it
Hmm.
was just us, just, I was just playing with something.
Yeah.
I forgot what restaurant I was at the time. It was executive sous chef. So, it was the day off. And I was
Hmm.
just like, one of those things when you're a chef and most of these type of restaurants of that caliber, you only make what you're told. And then if you're at my level, you're not even making anything. So it was like,
Yeah.
oh, let me like flex some muscles at home. I
Yeah.
manage most of it. I spend my days managing and 20, 30 people and
Hmm.
putting out fires. So I haven't got an opportunity to make something from scratch. So that became one of these things that I obsessed over for a little bit, like how to make this entirely on my own. Different flowers. With so much flour in
Yeah.
the house, you'd have thought I was, narco somewhere.
Yeah. So, Lynn, you came from completely outside of the restaurant area. How was that
Mhm.
coming into starting a food business and just getting your feet wet in the business?
Absolutely, because my career is in higher education. I work at a
Mhm.
community college downtown.
Yeah.
So jumping into this, I'm just kind of like, what am I doing? But luckily, Chef Brandon here is my partner, but like also just like him having like so many years of
Hmm.
experience like in this industry, like it was fairly like comfortable like to see what he's doing, like learn from him and like trying to
Hmm.
get my feet wet. And then also just like taking the opportunity to do my own research and like look into workshops that are online and free, like how to like run a business, like how to like run restaurants and
Hmm.
get into it is in that way as well, along with like just a practical hands-on and kind of like going to Brandon, like, what do we do in this situation? Because like he's been doing this. So it's been quite a transition. I would just say like the learning never stops. Like it's always ongoing, ongoing. And that's just like from running a business in the first place.
Yeah. Now, oh, sorry. Kate's got a question. I see her.
How did you make the transition from running this out of your home kitchen to in the bar to having an actual sit-down restaurant?
Well, it's pretty much started in the house. It kind of just transitioned really, I would say, or it took a minute. So like
Yeah.
2023 was, oh hey, this is cute, this is fun. We're both working our full-time jobs. We both having like high, nice incomes to take, our lives. So
Hmm.
like it would have seemed absurd for us like, oh, let's just go ahead and do. I tried, and I was like, you know what, no, I like paychecks. And then for 2023, we play with it off and on, every maybe other weekend. Da, da, da. So 2024, we had a long conversation, and I wanted to really transition away from. I actually was working at a restaurant called Labriola at the
Yeah.
time for most of 2023 to learn more about pizza. And now I'm like, okay, I got
Hmm.
the basis. And I've worked in a lot of Italian restaurants, and we
Yeah.
do Neapolitan. But I'm like a major guy. I'm in the kitchen with the
Yeah.
hot guys and pizza guys, and the pizzaiolos are always by themselves. So I
Yeah.
got to dib and dab with them, but never really work with them. So this
Hmm.
time, like going to Labriola, which is a pizza focus, is not
Yeah.
pastas and everything else focused, pizza focused, everything else is secondary. Gave me an opportunity to see different things, like different, like what kind of pizza ovens are they using, how to store. Like I have a basic idea, but I never did it at a volume where we're talking about a restaurant that does a $20,000 Friday,
Yeah.
$50,000 month Saturday, and that's just summer. And in the summertime, that's 20,000 a day. So
Yeah.
in the wintertime, those are a little bit reduced, but like that type of volume of being
Hmm.
understanding pizza is different than like, okay, yeah, I know how to stretch, I know how to make it, I know what Neapolitan, I know how to store it, I know how to use wood fire, but learn how to put out pizza. So I spent most of 2023 at Labriola, just learning, being their sous chef, learning the game. And then
Hmm.
2024, we kind of had some things go on where we like had a discussion. An opportunity came up where someone else was going to open a restaurant. They had pizza equipment. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not leaving my salary job to work for anyone. So we kind of worked out a partnership deal where we split profits. And that kind of brought in more following, having a real brick and mortar. And that was out in Hazel Crest in the suburbs. And this is
Hmm.
all 2024. So 2024 really started the push. And we're like,
Hmm.
okay, now we got a following where it was to the point where the restaurant we partnered with, if we weren't there, they had no business.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah, people thought their restaurant was Lynn Chicago
exactly.
Pizza.
Like you see, it was ours. So when we decided, so then organically, right around the corner from our home, there's a restaurant cafe space that's been sitting there. My eyes there for since we moved over, empty. She said it's been
Yeah.
open. I said no, it hasn't. I go past there. I'm in the windows. Get my hands on this place. Figured out how to get in touch with who owned the place, rent, and then kind of started a whole different process of interviewing. It was like a 3 interview process because it's Sunshine Gospel Ministries. They have all these properties in the neighborhood and they
Hmm.
use them for different programming. So the restaurant they had set on hasn't really gone well. I'm assuming since the pandemic, the tenants they had in
Yeah.
there. So it kind of just sat there for a while, and then it kind of just went through the interview process. We had to do a pop up. I say competition because there's another person they were vetting.
Interested in.
They were vetting as
Yeah.
well. They had to do the same thing. We
Oh,
brought out
wow.
the community. Yeah, we brought out the community on a Monday at 4 o'clock. We had a
Yeah,
line.
like we
Yeah.
really like made that place like our restaurant for that day for that
Yeah.
one pop up.
Yeah.
Like we had games, like we had a DJ, and they have garage doors, like we had that up because it was May, it
Yeah.
was like really nice weather. Like our pop up was like from 4 to 7 p.m. and like at 4:05, people were outside at the door. And I was
Oh, I
like,
love
wow.
that.
But we also did like our own marketing. Like I made flyers, printed
Hmm.
flyers. We were out in the community, like just telling people like what we were doing.
Mailboxes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
windowsill. We
Oh,
did. I always tell people like grounding the pavement, and I know we have a lot of technology, but at the same time, my mindset is back in the old days when you had a CD, you had to try to shop it to the radio stores or
yeah.
shop it to the recording, like going there. Hey, here's my CD, listen to it. So I went for that same mentality. We used to call it guerrilla marketing, or hey, I'm on the
Yeah.
windshield, I'm going mailboxes. I
Mhm.
seen the flyers on the ground, I was happy. If
Yeah.
I was somewhere else, I'm like, oh, that means someone's seen it at least.
Yeah. So then that popped up and like all around the interviews. That led to the landlord's organization offering us the lease.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. It's almost like it was like kind of a, it was like one of those like those TV shows, you know, like
Whole relationship was with a TV show. We start from the beginning.
Yes. But yeah, so like even like just getting offered the lease, like that part wasn't easy either. Cause
Yeah.
again, we're like, okay, wait a minute, this is a big thing. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
And like our partnership, like with the restaurant in Hazel Crest, like was ending. Like we were deciding to like, separate that and just kind of see like what was next, either continue in Chicago pizza or nothing at all.
Yeah.
Trying to get funding and like a clutch was stressful,
Oh,
but
I bet.
I did, yeah, because we didn't have like a lot to like grow a business. And then as you may know, like getting a loan as a startup business is like non-existent, or a restaurant in general is like really non-existent.
Yeah.
So it has to go into like some other routes and like really just like pull it together. And like I said in the beginning, like I think all of this is just the blessings, because
Yeah.
how did we get offered a lease in June? I find money in July, and then that led us to signing the lease, just like taking that leap and moving forward.
Oh wow, that's amazing. And once you found the building, you opened pretty quickly after that, right? Like you got in and made your changes. What kind of work did the building require for you to open as a pizzeria?
It was pretty much set up turnkey. Like it's the organization, the group who owns the space, it's been used as a cafe. I think it started back as a cafe back in 2015. So a lot of the equipment was there, tables were there. It was like we did a little paint, clean, move. We brought in some pizza stuff to make it a pizzeria in the kitchen, because at first we tried it and we're trying to use a confection of it. It was not working. It was killing us.
Landlords did a really good job of keeping up the space and
Yeah.
keeping it clean, keeping it neat, keeping it cute.
Yeah,
And
they were using it for their programs. There was another space as we were
for their venue.
Yeah, it was just another
Okay.
space as we learned the other day.
So we basically just had a situation where we could just move in, which was another advantage point of us being able to do this in the beginning, because we didn't have to buy a whole bunch of new stuff.
Yeah, I love that. And since you've been in, I mean, you are so community driven. Like, I love that you do all these fun special nights, you do private parties, you really have become a community hub. Can you kind of share a little bit about that, like what you are making sure you go for in your community, and especially that you live in the community, it's probably an even bigger gathering place.
So to add to that, I was always a big TV sitcom person, and not to go too far in, but I like when you think about Saved by the Bell, Happy Days.
Yeah.
The guys always had some place to go to talk about their day. They knew the server, they knew the manager. And for me, in my entire life, I'm like, man, I've had a few places where I can go, and I know that's my server, and she's gonna serve us, and she knows her girlfriends, she knows her boyfriends, like we talk to this person. So I'm like, if I'm gonna put something in the community, I want someone, hey, let's just go hang out. Like if we were open and we weren't us, we would literally walk around the corner, grab us a bottle, and go sit there and have pizza and just sit there. And that's so we want to. If we were willing to, if that's something we want to do, how many other people in this community, how many people in our building, how many people on our next door neighbor would do the same? And we've seen it so far where people are like, oh man, like the other night we just had someone had a lovely dinner in the window. I'm like, I feel like I'm in Wicker Park, which is another side of town.
Yeah, for sure.
Windows, and we have the Edison light bulb. So like it has all this. I'm like, yes, that felt really cool. And I'm like, that would be us if we weren't the owners. And then we would walk there. We would go around the corner. We would go for a walk in the park, because we live by the park, and go right down the street to grab a slice of, grab pizza and hang out for a little bit. So ideally, when we thought, and I pumped this in our head, we are going to be a place where we're going to be that neighborhood place. I do know a few customers by name. We talk like we've known each other for weeks, and months, and years, and I just met you yesterday.
Yes,
We've been back 3 times already, so now I feel like we're friends, So
absolutely,
that was my focus, something I wanted to push. I know we're trying to make money and not die, but at the same time, if we have more places like that, and in other parts of town in Chicago, there are places like that you can just go. It's not a big thing. It's just, hey, let's roll out the bed and we'll grab something to eat and walk back or whatever. Our part of time is not completely like that. Maybe certain parts of it, but where we are particularly is not that vibe. Like maybe Hyde Park, Chicago, where it's like our neighbor was a block away from us. They have a more community-driven like restaurant situation like that.
Yeah. And I think also just like taking advantage of the space that we have, because it is such a beautiful space.
Yeah.
And then I like dabble like in like the poetry scene, like in Chicago, like I write
Hmm.
poetry, and like have made connections like with all of these poets and like different types of
Yeah.
hosts like throughout the years. So when we got this place, and even before we were open, I already knew like this is what I want to
Yeah.
do.
I love
So
that.
making those connections, making connections with a friend that like hosts karaoke at like some other nearby places. And then like just having them come on over and
Yeah.
like work with us and host shows. And then just always getting inquiries about other private parties, like people want to do their birthday parties, this and
Yeah.
that. We had a book release by this young lady who's an author.
Oh, nice.
Somebody approached me yesterday about like hosting yoga classes, like in a space.
Hmm.
So like we're just going to be like that place that like where it is just not a restaurant, but like
Yeah.
also a venue for slight entertainment. But like Brandon said, just like a hub for people to come and hang out.
Hmm.
I guess like one of my favorite things is that like when people just come normally to the restaurant to eat, and then like it's a event happening, like they can
Yeah.
participate in, they can listen to like some good music, poetry, like whatever the thing is. We are BYOB, so like we
Yeah.
promote that heavy. So we just had karaoke the other night, and everybody brought like a bottle of wine, like whatever like their favorite
Yeah.
drink is, and people are just like really hanging out. So and like Brandon said, we are making friends. Like the people who are coming to our events, they come enough. I'm like, okay, this is my friend. We're actually having like conversations. Like I know who you are, and like
Yeah.
this is it's fun.
I love
I
that.
know every customer named Brandon so far. Though. We are all friends. Every Brandon that comes in, I swear,
Every Brandon, you're like,
of
I
all
know
the
'em all.
Brandons, I'm like, oh, okay, another Brandon. What's up? So,
Probably
but
a lot of
you know,
Brandons over there, right?
a lot of Brandons.
So,
I didn't realize how. Yeah, there's a lot of Brandons.
that's amazing. I love that you're creating such a community space with it because I think that um, right now it seems like restaurants are having trouble with building a dining experience because everything has gone third party delivery,
Yeah.
everything's gone carry out. And so to create an environment where people want to come in and stay in and come in multiple times, I think that that's pretty unique to be able to build that.
Well, I mean, that's still our biggest challenge. I love when people are like, they weren't even busy. And you're like, no, what you saw was an empty restaurant. And in
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
back, everyone's treating it like a to-go place. So
Yeah.
I can have tickets and screens
Yeah.
filled. And
yeah,
so if you're coming and you're, oh, well, we try to tell people like we have a reservation system where you can pick your time.
Hmm.
And it's like, say you say 10, 11 o'clock, you want to pick your pizza up 11 o'clock.
Hmm.
It might not be ready till 11:15 because there's
Yeah.
a whole other pre-orders, but you don't see that
Yeah.
when you walk in
yeah,
because the space is empty looking. So
yeah.
now you
Yeah.
assume we're not busy, but no, we're really
Yeah, we
busy.
have a lot of online orders. That's the way
Yeah.
like our operation and our customers are learning like that's the way that you
Yeah.
place your order with us.
I
But
like
you
the
know, as
appointment system. That's kind of cool. That's really cool, especially because Chicago, your bake time is longer, correct? With your what's your bake time on your deep dish?
About 35, 40 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
We got that actually from our friends at Millie's in a pan. We did a
yeah,
pop-up at
that's
their
such a good
space.
spot.
Yeah, we did a pop-up with Rob over last summer, right before we got our lease. And
yeah,
he said,
Hmm.
hey, come do a pop-up in my restaurant. We was like, what? Are you serious? This is so great. And then as we asked questions, and he's like, yeah, we do online, or we do pre-order, online ordering. People pretty much just come pick up and keep moving. We don't keep
hmm
cash.
hmm
We don't do anything with a register because it's already
Yeah.
been done
and
online.
was immediately in love with that idea and that concept because we was
Yeah.
already like thinking about it and kind of like just figuring out like how is this going to work, and then like to meet Rob and like see how he runs his
Yeah.
operation, like this can work. And like they
Yeah.
gave us like even more confidence, like we're going to have to like train people, like you have to select your time frame, you have to order online.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely call Millie's over there our pizza
The Godfather.
godfather,
Yeah.
pizza
Oh, I
god.
love that. Yeah, the appointment is so great, and it can be so clutch because there's a pizzeria in Seattle, Moto, and their whole business is set up pre-orders. So they when he first opened for the first year, he had orders for the next 3 months where people were just, hey, Thursday night I'm ordering pizza, and it's every Thursday I'm ordering this pizza. So being able to set up like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I would imagine that it helps you be able to predict volume and predict
Mhm.
patterns in your
It
restaurant.
definitely does. I mean, this is where I really shine because this is where I start making money when I stop cooking, learn how to manage the restaurant and the kitchen part. And it was great because now I do have a very good track on like my food costs. I already know how to monitor it, but like just knowing like, all right, do I need 3 cases right now? Well, I know what my average is based on my P mix, based off the dossiers, based off the people
Yeah.
who order on the same day. So it becomes like a database, which I think is great because the goal is to make it scalable. And with a system that we're building, it can be eventually plug and play. Like, okay, great. This is how we
Yeah.
build it. And we can move it around. Because I definitely want a restaurant in Atlanta. I tell people every
Oh,
day,
okay.
I want to be in Atlanta. So many Chicago people are in Atlanta. So many of our friends and family who are, this is what they're like, we need a Chicago pizzeria down there. And I'm like, I love that city. It's one of my favorite
Yeah,
cities. But like
I love it. They've got a
having
great
a
pizza
system,
scene.
yeah, having a system that can be easily movable, scalable to any type of location. That's the goal. That's what I wanted to build in the first place. So
Yeah.
that definitely think is a great way, and it definitely keeps tracks of our measurements and numbers and how we do things.
And I think like also too, like with us being a small team, like within
Hmm.
our restaurant, like it lets the kitchen know like what we have coming up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
head on certain things that we know. Yeah, so sometimes we can beat the reservation times, and they're like walk in and walk out. Like, oh wow. And sometimes,
Yeah.
hey, if we have 20 before you, still
Yeah.
got an earlier
Sorry.
slot.
But we still have customers that's like just used to like the Pizza Hut and like the
Oh
ones at
yeah.
the fashion. They're like they put their pizza order in, like how long is it gonna take? 20 minutes? And I'm
No,
like,
10. I heard 10 to 15. Oh, that 10 like what? Where do you get a pizza for 10 to 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah,
wild. I think like the
Neapolitan pizza
expectation
you
is
can do in
wild.
7 minutes, and that's in a restaurant with wood fire. But those pizza are
Yeah.
made to go fast, and they're cooked at 700 degrees. So that I understand, but we're not talking about people who go out and have Neapolitan pizzas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Well, we won't keep you too much longer, but I'm curious about you want to scale the business. What are you looking forward to in the next, say, year or two with the business of how you want to grow it and proceed, especially in an environment where we're dealing with pricing issues and supply issues, how are you kind of planning forward?
So how we're planning right now is one. Let's see if we could turn our yeah, in my mind and based on projections, we hopefully try and finally actually turn a profit by the time we renew our lease. So
Yeah.
like now we go into the summer season, so we get past the winter season. If you're familiar with Chicago, our
Yeah.
seasons are so right now we every restaurant's pretty like just getting by,
Yeah.
keep holding their breath, hoping they get
Yeah.
this. All right,
Because our cold season is long.
yeah, so
Yeah. Except for
with
those
that,
70-degree weathers you had for a day the other day.
That was
yeah, that was what
that was
Friday.
great. Yeah.
But so the goal is to take those. So once we could get us making real money and profitable, we need to get we need good equipment to increase productivity. We
Mhm.
need the dough sheeter, we need a rounder, we need a couple of those 2 little items will help my team one be more efficient in how they do things. They're
Mhm.
not going to be me. As much as I try, I've been doing this for 17 years in restaurants, so I
Yeah.
have a million skills. And as much as I try to teach them, I'm like, okay, you know what? In order for this
Yeah.
to go faster, we need the tools and certain tools we
Mhm.
need. So get enough money to get those tools. Then
Mhm.
we can build off that success when we can be more, we can put out more pizzas at a time, instead of doing 40, we're doing 100, and that will help us out. Then by that, I'm now working with the community, working with community leaders, goals, what other projects we can work on. We have a couple concepts we are working on. I am working on a concept called Aja, which is Italian, which is more going to be more Neapolitan, wood fire idea
Yeah.
in my mind, hopefully one day.
Yeah.
But handmade pasta. And we have another concept we're going to play around with. We use our space to do like
Yeah.
test out concepts. Because
Yeah.
I want to go. This is a restaurant. We're a restaurant group. We're trying to start,
Yeah.
and that's why we even named our business as a restaurant group because I want to have DBAs.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm, mhm.
but I definitely want Lynn Chicago Pizza to be the forefront of any, because we want it in every Southside. I want every community to have a Lynn Chicago Pizza, even a big one or a small one. But we want to
Mhm.
be that brand. And when you think of Chicago, especially if you're thinking about Chicago Southside, you
Mhm.
go, oh, Lynn Chicago Pizza. Like we
Yeah.
have places like that where you go, oh, Harold's Chicken.
Yeah,
So like
Yeah.
things like that.
I love
absolutely.
that because I can think of a lot of restaurant groups that I know of personally in the pizza space, and pizza was the start for those restaurant groups, and now they have 8, 9 different concepts that they roll from. But pizza was always that flagship of the brand. So yeah, good to roll out the
This
pizza
is really
first.
just exciting too, because like we're neighbors with the University of Chicago, which is one of
Mhm.
the premier institutions in the
Yeah.
country.
Hold on.
And we've been getting a lot of catering gigs from them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like just more and more, just like seeking more catering opportunities. Like we've done some like downtown Chicago. And I'm just kind of like, how did they find out about us?
Yeah,
The
always done it.
distance is even like that far apart, but it does feel like two different worlds from downtown Chicago, which is like
Mhm.
touristy and all
Yeah.
the high rises and like just different industries out there. And then us like on the south, like how did these people find out about it? We love it.
Yeah.
So like just more catering, like more
Mhm.
community engagement, more creative, specialized dinners like from Chef Brandon. Um, yeah, like just to grow and just be there. Even our customers are excited for us about when the weather breaks
Yeah.
because we have those garage doors that people are looking and they're like, so when it gets warmer, you're going to raise this up, right? I said, absolutely.
We're gonna
Yeah.
raise capital for patio furniture because we have a patio, so we have an
Yeah.
opportunity to take our space to the next level. A lot of our
Yeah.
issue right now is just trying to find funding and capital.
Yeah.
Just kind of it's like pay rent and pay my team. That's very
Yeah.
small, but we still have those are my new two basic things of life right now. Keeping those guys happy because I need these guys. My team, we've been working together since maybe October. A lot of guys working with
Hmm.
me. So we are getting there to the point where I left the restaurant the other day and I didn't show up,
Nice.
bro. I didn't go. I was not in the. I walked to the
Yeah.
door, handed the key, and kept going because I didn't know if I walk in,
Yeah.
I know how I'm gonna get. So I was like, let them run this show. We're
To
gonna let them
grow
run this show. Yeah.
to grow how you want to, you can't sit in
I
that
can't.
restaurant,
We
I
can't.
mean,
I
to
keep and I
yeah.
noticed. I
Yeah.
noticed that we couldn't grow if I'm stuck in the kitchen because
Yeah.
she maintains the full time job to keep us afloat in life, and
Yeah.
I maintain business. And if I'm in a restaurant in the kitchen every single day, I miss so many opportunities. And as soon as I start playing around, getting out there a little bit, opportunities been coming to
Yeah.
me. Invitation. Hey, can we do something? Yes, but when I'm in the back, you can't see me. So
Yeah.
allowing my team to paying them, having enough money to pay them is always my struggle. And then
Mhm.
just trying to keep the rent paid until we get to that summer where we
Yeah.
can go fast. But
Yeah.
being trained and ready is the goal.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think like with that too, like we're doing a good job of being flexible with them as well. Like if we didn't make enough revenue a particular day or particular week,
Hmm.
we're really like, do we really need them for today? Like it's gonna hurt us, but we need to
Hmm.
save them for the weekend rather than just a Monday.
Yeah.
And I think like that's really, really smart, really important.
Yeah, yeah, being able to work your labor force the way you need to have the labor work. I get it totally. Well, I wish you guys all the best with growing your business. You're doing great. I can't wait to see where
Yeah.
you end up, and then hopefully next year I will see you competing on the on the International Pizza Challenge area.
Just tell Tony, if you know Tony,
Yeah.
tell him I'm coming for his title, all right?
All
I mean,
right, yeah, that's
he
fine.
he's got 10. I just want one. I just want one.
But you
I'm
can do
coming.
that.
I'm
So the
going for
one thing
one.
I'll warn you is once you see those competition slots open,
You got to jump
get in fast,
place
especially if you want in
November.
pan goes quick, by the
Yeah,
way.
I
Like they
noticed that.
all go quick, but pan goes
Yeah.
especially quick because there's not as many spots because it takes longer
Yeah,
to cook.
definitely. Oh no, I know
Uh,
this year definitely November. I'm gonna be all signed up for everything by November because that's when I saw it open, and then I saw it by the end of November. Damn, they're sold out.
Gone. Yep. Yeah. All
I was like,
right. Well,
maybe I could squeeze in traditional, and then we're like, we can't even get out of the building right now. So
yeah. No, no. It goes quick, but
yeah,
we'll
no
look
worries. I'm
forward to
gonna win
seeing
one
you
though.
there. That's awesome. All right. Well, you guys take care and we can't wait to continue watching y'all grow.
Thank you so much,
Absolutely.
Reese.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.